What's up, 7.3 fans? Welcome back to the 7.3 Garage. My name is Brandon. Today for the video, we're going to do something a little bit different. I know we pushed some content out, some shorts that you guys seem like you've enjoyed, so there's going to be more of that stuff coming. But kind of wanted to do a little video today of how I got my start, my history with 7.3s, and my, I guess, enthusiasm for the performance industry with these trucks. So that's kind of what this video is going to be about today. I really want to do something that kind of involves somewhat of a generalized price tag of how much it really costs to build one of these trucks and these engines, and give you some tips as my experience. Before we get started on that, I want to shout out our sponsors for today's video. Jellyboat Performance. Brian Jelich is the leader for 7.3 tuning. Hit him up. His website we obviously always have down in the description below. And Complete Performance, also known on social media as CP Addict. Chris and Paul Rutledge out in Texas have new old stock parts for these trucks, aftermarket interior, exterior stuff, performance, anything you need for OBS, trucks, 7.3 or gas, whatever you got, those guys can get you set up. So let's get right into the truck. All right, so I purchased this truck back in 2010. I believe I was 17 years old. I actually ended up paying $7,000 for it. The truck was a Florida native like myself, but it was from Fort Pierce, Florida. I ended up finding an ad for it on Auto Trader. I think I've posted it on my social media in the past, so if you want to dig deep, it's on my Instagram profile. But I picked the truck up for $7,000. It was a one-owner truck, and I bought it from the dealership that it was delivered to brand new in 1997. I actually thought about bringing it today for this video, but I don't have it. But I do have the original window sticker for this truck. I believe it cost somewhere around $33,000. So it's a 1997 F250 heavy duty. So this has the F350 rear leaf springs in it for towing, things like that. The original owner actually had left some material, paperwork and stuff in the back of one of the seats, and I actually ended up reaching out to the gentleman. He's an older guy, still lives in South Florida, and asked him some questions about the truck, and he really used the truck for towing. Otherwise it's sat. You guys will see how bad my dash is cracked when we get inside, but something is in the works for that. But I've had two engines in this truck so far with my shenanigans that I've kind of gotten into and influenced through all these guys throughout the years in the 7.3 community. But my knowledge has really been gained just kind of getting under the hood of this thing and really working on it. I'm going on almost 13 years now this August owning this truck, so I've been around them a long time and very passionate, as I'm sure everybody's aware. But want to kind of walk around the truck and talk about some of the details as far as things that I've done and an average price, and we'll kind of add them up at the end here. So starting in the front, everything's basically original here on the outside. The headlights are from CP Addict. Those are a couple $100, I believe $200-ish you can get a set for. Just their Firewire LEDs are in there as well. In the front here, I have a set of Rigid Industries, I guess driving lights, if you will. The pods are held in by a CP Addict bracket for the XLT bumpers. This is an original bumper to this truck. The inside lights are spotlights, and the exterior ones on the outside are floods. Other than that, the front of this truck is pretty much original. The truck has been repainted before. The paint code is LE. It's a royal blue metallic. It's a Ford color. So this is the original color on the truck. It is not the original paint, however. I wish I could say that it was. Working our way around here, these are new to the truck in the past year or so. These are a Gear Off-Road 20x12 764C, and the tire is a 285, I believe it's a 50 sidewall or 45 sidewall 20. I love these tires, an NT420. They're great. It's the newest one that replaced the previous generation of Nitto tires. As far as suspension goes, I do have a 1-inch leveling kit in the front from CP Addict, and I also have a DJM drop shackle in the rear to lower the back of the truck, so it kind of sits pretty much level for the most part. It's probably about a 3/4 of an inch off. The traction bars underneath are made by a gentleman, his name's Chase Greer. He's on Instagram, social media, Greer Fabrication. It's a weld-on bar I had installed locally. The truck has an original, I shouldn't say original, it's kind of the wrong wording, has a 4-inch MVRP exhaust system that I actually bought back in 2011 for this truck when I was in high school. So I've had this exhaust system on the truck for quite some time. The only other thing on the outside that I have that's different, I have a Fiends diesel sump on the front fuel tank. The rear tank I'm not using right now, so my supply and return is picked up and returned to just the front fuel tank right now. All vibrant hose and fittings underneath that supply the fuel and bring it back to the engine. I'm sorry, to the engine and back to the fuel tank. So that seems to work pretty well. I have a Fuel Lab Prodigy pump under there with Irate Diesel's, I guess, street system, their street fuel system. It's basically their competition system now. They have, my fuel system's probably 7 or 8 years old from them, but they have a brand new system that's actually really, really nice. As far as the exterior goes, that's about it. The wheels and tires, the total package shipped and balanced, I got from Standout Specialties. Lauren and Aaron up north, they got me set up with those. I believe out the door was about $3,000 for those. The fuel system was about $850. Trying to price some of these things out. Traction bars are about $400. The rear end stuff, I have all Yukon gear and axle stuff in the rear end, and a bank stiff cover. All that stuff comes out to about $1,000 or $1,200 with fluid. As you guys can see, the price of this stuff starts to really go up when it comes to building these. That's why some people kind of turn their nose up. But you want anything to go fast, you're gonna have to spend some money. Let's pop the hood and talk about the engine. All right, so now we're under the hood of this thing. These engines notoriously from the factory, they're rated at about 225 horsepower. That's at the flywheel. If you do the math, 20% drivetrain loss usually. This comes out to about 160 wheel horsepower ish. I've seen some stock trucks dyno and it's about between 140, 150, something like that. So the original block I had in this engine was a stock bottom end. I get this question all the time. Hey, how much can my stock bottom end handle? I've seen stock bottom ends handle over 1,000 horsepower with nitrous, and some that only handle 500 horsepower and kick a rod out. So whether you had a Monday engine or a Friday engine or a Wednesday engine, I guess it really just depends on when International produced these and how well they were put together, the castings, all that stuff comes into play. If you're going to be really playing with these trucks, I always recommend you do head studs, valve train modifications, and I'm going to go over my engine in just a second. Like I said, this is the second engine that I've had in this truck. Actually got this block from the maniac himself, Owen Stroker, my buddy Dave Beach over on the West Coast, another 7.3 enthusiast / madman. I got this block from him. So just to go real quick over what was done to the bottom end, and I'll tell you how much the machine work cost. I had this engine was bored 20 over. Everything was a line board for the main caps. The crank was balanced as well and machined. The heads were decked, the block was decked, so everything was nice and flat and square. All this machine work I had done at Mesa Balancing down in Hialeah, Florida. All right, so the machine work for this, the price tag ended up being about $4,000. That was for everything. So I paid for a long block assembly. They did offer a short block assembly, which does not include the installation of the cylinder heads, but I wanted them to check the valve spring height, the piston to valve clearance. So $4,000, that was just for the machine work, not including all the hard parts. So we'll say that was $4,000. The Manley connecting rods I did were about $3,000. The Swamps diesel injectors I have in this truck are actually like an OG injector from back in the day. Those, when I bought those new from Swamps diesel, those were $3,000. The Irate diesel turbo kit with the turbocharger was about $3,200, $3,250. You guys can see how quickly this stuff is adding up here. So this motor, the setup I have it at right now should be good for about 650 to 700 horsepower. I have not had it on the dyno for probably 3 or 4 years at this point. This engine, I should say the first engine I had with the same setup and a smaller turbocharger, I had a 369 SXE. Now I have a 472 SXE from Borg Warner. Made just about 600 horsepower, it's about 590 wheel horsepower and about 1,100 foot-pounds of torque. So the motors can make power, but you gotta invest a little bit of money or a lot of money, and it's kind of how it goes. So this engine is backed up to a diesel site, Legendary Series transmission I purchased from them. I'd say about 3 or 4 years ago. Excellent customer service. Bob Riley's awesome to deal with. The name Diesel Site should be familiar to some of you guys. They do make the Adrenaline high pressure oil pump, which I have on this truck, and it's been fantastic for me. But that transmission out the door was about $5,000, with including all the hard parts, all that stuff. So just the loan and the engine and the transmission and the turbocharger, the fuel system, all the things that are necessary to do, it's a very hefty price tag. If you guys are into these trucks, you know what it takes to make them do what they do. They're a lot of fun. We kind of get doubted a lot of the times. Don't care. I love the body style. I love the engine. They don't make 1,000 horsepower in fuel. There's very few people in this community that make that kind of power, and they have secrets that they won't tell anyone. Or maybe if you become part of the fan club, they might. But that's kind of really it as far as it goes with the engine. This truck was dailied by me for about 10 years, 12 years. And recently I just bought a little daily driver to take around town. But the reliability of this setup, the amount of money I've spent, is extremely reliable. It's never left me stranded on the side of the road, other than having an issue with a battery here and there, maybe an alternator, something on the pulley assembly. But since the engine's been built, it's been very, very reliable for me. I used to drag race this truck a lot, and obviously our local racetrack has been kind of wiped off the face of the earth, or will be soon, which kind of is unfortunate. But other than that, that's really what it is. So I guess we'll tally up the price tag right here of the final cost, which I'm sure is going to be somewhat high for this. But if you're an enthusiast like me, you know what the passion feels like. You know what it takes to make these trucks fast. And you can actually do a lot of builds on a budget with a stock bottom end. A healthy truck can last and be a lot of fun. So that's kind of all I got for this one, guys. Just wanted to go over the truck real quick. We have some more content coming. We have a couple installs coming. Some new parts are going to be on the way here shortly. So we're looking forward to that. We're going to get some other trucks in the channel. We got a lot of brainstorming ideas, but we're really looking forward to it. I do have a link in my Instagram bio. We'll see if we can send it on this video as well at the bottom for I have some stickers for sale. 7-3 Garage stickers. I have it on the back. We'll pull a picture up so you guys can see what those look like. But go ahead, and if you want to join the community, join the 7-3 Garage family, go ahead and get you one. I have plenty of them, so always happy to get those out to you guys. But as always, my name is Brandon. This is the 7-3 Garage. We'll see you at the next one.